Welcome to Fire Engineering's Training Minutes. I'm Mark Gregory, along with John too. Today we're going to discuss accidents involving conveyor systems. They can occur anywhere in the United States, whether it's the agricultural setting, industrial, or even light commercial, such as at a supermarket. First thing we want to think about anytime we have somebody's hand stuck inside of a conveyor is making sure that power has been shut down. Lockout, tagout is going to be essential. Next is if we can find some sort of qualified personnel that's on scene, might be a mechanic or somebody familiar with the machine, we want to find out as much as we can. Make sure that it's de-energized. Any tricks might be to loosening up the belts and gaining access to the victim. In this machine here, John will point out, it's a chain-driven system.
Open electric motor.
Right. We have the electric motor off the side. We've lockout, tagout's been performed. If we have the breakaway link, that's going to be the best access for us to pop this chain off. If not, we can cut that chain, and then we can basically freewheel this mechanism into the reverse mode in order to back the hand out. Using a reciprocating saw with a wooden blade, we can cut the belt right here to gain further access to our victim and to free them from the conveyor itself. If the victim's hand was caught in between two of the conveyor rollers, what we'd want to do is add an airbag. The purpose for the airbag would be to prevent any additional rolling further entrapping the victim's hand. And then we'd perform our extrication by either taking apart the chain or loosening the pre-tensioner. On this particular conveyor here, John can gain access to the victim's hand by simply loosening the 3 bolts that we have and then popping the pin that's actually holding the roller in place. If the machine is equipped with a tensioning device, John would loosen the tensioner. Again, it would gain access that we'd be able to slide the roller back and forth, and we'd be able to free the victim's hand from within the rollers. At this point of the operation, we've opted to go with cutting the conveyor belt away from the victim. Pat's going to perform stabilization while John is going to use tin snips. This is a thinner gauge conveyor belt, so he'll be able to use the tin snips to extricate Eddie's hand from this conveyor belt. If it was a thicker gauge conveyor belt, we'd want to opt for the reciprocating saw. Note that John took the blade and has put it in the upside down position. The reason being, it'll give him more flexibility in his cut as he's moving along and able to gain more depth into the belt itself.
Ready?
Even just several cuts may make enough of a gap that we're able to slip Ed's hand out from inside this machine. And there you have it. We've gone through all the steps here of extricating a hand from within the conveyor belt system here. I'm Mark Gregory, along with John Tu, Ed Daly, and Pat Nichols, and thank you for watching Fire Engineering's Training Minutes. Welcome to Fire Engineering's Training Minutes. I'm Mark Gregory, along with John Tu and Paul La Rochelle. Today we're going to discuss basic torch operations. Right here we have an acetylene oxygen setup. What we're going to do is provide some basic information on performing cuts. Oxygen, we're going to set our gauge at 40 psi. John's going to set the acetylene at 7 psi. Again, some fire departments use oxyacetylene, others may have a MAP gas, some may use petrogen. For today's drill purposes, we're going to use the oxyacetylene. Paul has his torch. He's going to be using a number 2 tip. He's going to light the torch. What Paul's looking for here now in the torch is he wants to get a nice, even blue flame. All of his tips are going to be even. Once he's satisfied, on an angle, he's going to start to cut. The reason he's got the torch on an angle is he wants to try to preheat the metal that he's going to be moving towards. As the metal heats up, Paul's going to introduce the wand in order to blow the slag out of the way to make a nice clean cut. As Paul turns off the torch, he's going to shut off the fuel source first, followed by the oxygen. Training is essential when it comes down to torch proficiency. You want to make sure that you're using the correct pressures for your acetylene and your oxygen. You want to make sure that you have proper PPE on, including your eye protection. Having a water can nearby during torch operations is also important. My name is Mark Gregory, along with John Tu and Paul La Rochelle. Thank you for watching Fire Engineering's Training Minutes.